Hello. Come on in and very first Impact Live. I'm super excited. I see that we have a on. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. For today, we have her as our very excited for you guys to hear her perspective about how lives are impacted by incarceration. Give it a couple more minutes and the introductions. I hope you get to have you guys on. Can't you see them? This is we're just all around on my personal YouTube channel, Facebook page, and Twitter account. That was very last minute. I saw it as an option because, hey, you know that you don't take. I don't know who it is a fact. You miss every shot that you come on in, join us for a necessary conversation which impacts families. I'm so happy that you guys decided to join. Great conversation. It is a tough sit myself, so please smile as a diminishing experience. I'm sorry, person. So come on in. Again, today's Impact live stream, Sister Eli. I cannot wait for you. I've had the pleasure of knowing her for a little over a year, I believe. I mean, they're awesome. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm just truly blessed to know them in this world, and I am honored to know them, and I'm happy that you all get mother tonight. So come on in and come with questions. Hello. I can see your tell us hello. Tell you've been impacted by incarceration. Comments if you feel like shares open. Nothing crazy. And we will block you. So all right. Well, it looks amount of people here. I am the founder and CEO. Tonight, I am hosting Impact live stream. To what this Impact live stream, let me give you a little explanation. Foundation is so there's a nonprofit that provides support to children impacted by parental. Our number one goal is family connection. I understand, communicate with a parent who is incarcerated to create a solution to kids' experience. So we cover we send them stationary materials. So if they are going to visitation, I said it takes to get there, or we will cover the purchase food during the journey. The solutions, we also cover the cost if they need it. So I mean, we're providing a media that because I did not have that one. So tonight first Impact live stream to light and having conversation incarceration impacts. For you guys to join us. Say hello. I'm about to introduce there's a sound on Instagram and that's the moment. And so I did that you guys are here. Let's get started. So tonight for us, we have now you you all saw the bio that we put in our newsletter, but I'm going to read it in case you did not read it. The sister of the Sigma sorority, Epsilon Chapter, awareness and neurodiversity. I mean, right there, that's amazing. Okay, master's degree in social diversity. Sister Eli is a leadership and media project business association, where she currently systems involved women through afforded her the opportunity to attend Sundance Film Festival, multimedia project called Jazeera, and gentrification. Tour for women of CC criminal injustice system, founding member of the Friends of Caregiver Advisory Council, caregivers with the knowledge, experience within systems change. I need you guys and say welcome, Sister Eli.
Good morning, everyone, wherever you at. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Sister Eli. You already know. I'm super excited that you, and I think that the world have to say you are literally the epitome of hold you back, and I feel like people hear that and see what it takes in on the other side. And so honored to know you, honored to have these last year and a half as our first special guest for live stream.
Thank you again. Not a lot of people want to have these difficult conversations and how it impacts families and children. So, yes, thank you so much for having me on as your first guest. I'm excited.
Excellent. Well, I gave that wonderful biography, mini autobiography about you. Is there anything else that you would about you?
I know. I think that's in a nutshell, really. I'm a mom. I'm an advocate. I'm a community member, and I'm all for the kids. Like, let's get them prepared to be successful, no matter what's going on in their lives, what's going on in school, whatever obstacles or diagnosis they have.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Okay. Question number 1. Question 2: incarceration.
So my husband is incarcerated right now, serving a 45-year sentence at Cheshire Correctional Institute in Cheshire, Connecticut. So, um, just the way it has impacted my family directly, this is why I even sought out the Freedom Child Foundation.
Sharing that. So what having a husband who's incarcerated? What are some of the difficulties that you?
I think the biggest thing for me is seeing my daughter go through the different emotions. She's young, so she doesn't necessarily understand all the time what's going on. Like, sometimes she says she does, but she's 8 and he's been incarcerated since she was in vitro. Like, she wasn't born when he was arrested. She didn't get to see him until he was being sentenced. So she was around 3 when that occurred, and the different emotions that she goes through, from being angry, from being sad, wanting to know what's going on with her dad, fearful for her dad because of COVID, because of stories. She watches the news. She's very inquisitive and curious. And also, we're very honest with her about what's going on, where he's at, and using a dictionary to define, what is prison, what is a sentence, and what is going on with his case. So I think that's the biggest impact that I go through all the time with her. And then, I had to go seek help. So finding that help and helping the professionals or those who say they're professional understand. Um, they diagnosed her like with other trauma, and it's like, what is that? We know what the trauma is. It's not other, and it's not like she's the only one off. There's millions of kids that are impacted. 1 in 4 kids. That means in a classroom, probably a quarter of the class, they have somebody, whether it's a caregiver or just a close family member, that is impacted by incarceration. So making sure they understand it's not a behavior. She's not a bad kid. She's very smart, and how it's impacting her in school now, as well as just socially and emotionally when she's dealing with kids in the classroom, in the playground, at home, with her cousins or whatever. It's not an isolated incident like, okay, when I'm on the phone with daddy or when I'm visiting him in jail. It seeps into other areas of her life.
Wow. Okay. It's a very loaded response, and I'm grateful. Okay. So in the beginning, you talked. It was important for you to be honest. To me, that translates to right. Just like you said, we're going to be honest. Right? We're going to use the adult term now to your level of understanding. Now, my number of parents who don't want to feel like that is a way of protecting them. Being honest is actually, and you've been helpful.
So I mean, I understand why other caregivers and other agencies may say, shelter them as long as they can, let them be a child. But what I have seen is you tell kids their way at school, right? And they finally come home after 10, 15 years. You have a 15-year-old now that's in high school. They don't want to think about going away to college. They don't want to be away at school for 10, 15 years because daddy wasn't home. Um, and then when they realize it on their own, like where daddy, where mommy is, it's a conversation of, you lied to me. So it backfires. Like, I can't trust you either. You're telling me, whatever the behavior was, because if you did or didn't seek help and they didn't understand, now it's like, I understand why I'm angry, why my caregiver wasn't there, and I'm angry at you and the system, like the person that was supposed to care for me. So I think we just have to be mindful and intentional about how we have these conversations, because it is a learning opportunity to have with our children about right and wrong and the justice system, and even elections. We just had midterms. Like, there was judges that we voted on that has a direct impact on how sentencing happens, and bail reform, and different things that directly impact our families and our communities.
Wow. And so when you have this understanding that a lot of the world is not when it comes to kids, sometimes people decide that kids don't have the ability to understand or even desire to digest the info. You're like, no, it's time for you to not feel like the justice system robbed me of you. Also robbed me from the truth. And so now I have impact on top of trauma. And so I want to commend you, because it's worth brilliant. PJ is brilliant. And it also seems that her to be able to kind of navigate experiencing. And so, yeah, that is, and I hope that, but I do hope that other families starts that honesty and transparency. So then, my next question kind of touched on this, but for a little bit more, how has it impacted your family? Or, did I feel like I low-key just said you. We're going to move past that one in your explanation, but on the question number, what resources do you feel are still needed by incarceration? You mentioned that you asked, right, what your daughter is, and so what resources, two, we're going to put two in here, what resources available to you and your family, and then what resources needed?
So I'm a very resourceful person, and what I realized is that I knew what I wanted the outcome to be. Like I wanted my daughter to have as much of a normal, right, childhood um as possible, but I also knew that she was going to have obstacles. She's a black child in America, she's a Muslim child in America, she's a girl, um and not negating that on top of her father being incarcerated. So I sought out resources that supported incarcerated children. I sought out resources that supported Muslim children and Black and Brown children, and sort of pieced together like this development plan for her, um, making sure that they understood, that I understood that she needed support so that she wouldn't have this gaping hole of I'm missing my dad and seeking something else, or my mom is a single mom and she's not able to get for me the basic necessities, but also feeling like, oh, I need to have Jordans, or like really letting her understand that she can express herself and be who she wants to be. um but when she wants to talk about like what makes her different and how she's upset or angry, sad, whatever it is, that there's someone there to support her, whether it's just you're a single mom and why, it could be you're a single mom, or my dad's not home, or why do I have to wear a hijab, but like letting her know those different topics are not isolated, like there's somewhere safe for her to be. So when I did that, I really had to basically reach out to different organizations because no one does everything, right? I haven't found someone that does everything. And the first thing they told me, because she was, again, she was 3 when he was sentenced, was she's too young. A lot of programs start at age 7, and I'm like, age 7, like what am I going to do in between these years? Children develop so fast. um the first 5 years of life, even the first 18 months of life, like when the phone is ringing, she's looking at the clock and she's reaching for the phone. And in my head, I was like, she knew it was her dad calling because he called the same time every day. You know, um, she looked at my brother throwing his kids up in the air and catching, and sort of looked like, I don't got nobody at home to throw me up in the air, you know. So it was really like, okay, I need to find her that support where she could be around other kids and sort of talk to it. And it's weird because these kids have conversations, and that's the other thing about being honest. You think they don't know, but the conversations they're having with each other is like very mature, very like, if this was to happen to my mom, this is who I'm gonna be living with. And they never say like, oh, you're gonna die or go to jail, but it's like something happened, like how and who and where, like you making your own contingency plan. So knowing that she needed that, and assisting her through that. And I took a lot of parenting classes. She's also my first child, so like, we live in a democracy, give her choices, let her understand the natural consequences. So it was very easy to have those conversations and say, hey, do you want to do this? This is what they're about. You can, if you don't want to. And I think that's also why she's sort of drawn to you. She's like, I read to her your website, and and then finding out that your mom has the same name, and she's like, they're just like me and they're brown skin. And it really helps because you don't force her to talk about her dad if she doesn't want to, but she knows like specifically what you're there to support her with. And even Osborne Association is another program I found. They took a chance on her. They said, you're going to have to come on outings with her because she's so young. And the first trip, she felt so comfortable. They was like, she's so well behaved. She did, she asked questions. She was able to keep up with the older kids. Like, if you want, you could leave her. And I was like, no, I'll come on outings. I do understand she's like 3 or 4, and might, if she does wander off, it's gonna be an issue. And then even with that, they referred me to another program. I was like, this might be a better fit. Like, they have mentors for young children, and that's how I found Friends of the Children. And I'm like, all these resources needs to be in one place. I think that's what the major need is. Like, I need to be able to look up children of incarcerated parents, New York, Connecticut, Texas. These are all the resources that are for you, because I had to do all that Googling and tweeting and Instagramming and Facebooking myself. And it was a little bit difficult, to the point that I was calling some people back like, hey, I didn't hear back from you. And I was like, I guess I'm not going to use this organization. But knowing that I needed the resource, but also they probably didn't have the resources to take in a big intake if it was just a regular child saying, oh, I need childcare, or I need aftercare. No, I need childcare, but I also need to know you understand that she has a behavior. It maybe she's having a bad day. Maybe her dad didn't call. Maybe, I had to tell her that her dad is on lockdown, and that you're having that conversation with her, and you feel comfortable to have that conversation with her when she's in after school or whatever it is that she's doing.
Wow. Someone in the chat, Sister Eli is the queen. And I have to retweet that. You are the queen of finding rings over the finish line, right? So, resource that I need for myself, and I'm like, 3 pages of paperwork. Like, but you take it over the finish. And I also want to point out, you're the solution that you're looking for. To be a place where all of the resources, you're the solution that you're looking for needs right now. You are, in the next years, Eli has put up this for whatever, and it has all the resources. You have parents in prison need, and they don't search around. And so my next question for you, did you have a support system while you did that, incarcerated? Did you have a support system, room for you to look for these reasons?
I did. My family was my support system, is my support system. Unfortunately, I don't feel like everyone has that strong family. Like figuring out how to turn on a Securus or GTL, JPay account to get calls. Um, Figuring out how to get to visits, because a lot of busing companies that was doing that, they went out of business or they stopped before COVID. And now with COVID, it's like, do I really want to sit on a crowded bus for 6 hours to go on a visit, or I'm gonna figure it out? So my family was a great help for that. And then again, um, I ended up back in my old community. So I used what I had until I was able to find something better. And not saying that, I used Henry Street Settlement and Educational Alliance. They're great. They have great resources. Um, but it wasn't tailored to children of incarcerated parents. It wasn't tailored to um, children in foster care. They got funding for that, but the services has to be a little bit tweaked, I feel. And that's great if you feel like you're able to refer them to specific programs. So my grandmother, shout out to my grandmother, may she rest in peace, was like, okay, we're gonna babysit this child. My mother, all right, we're gonna babysit this child. This Because of that, and even for me, like you go on bus trips with the senior citizens, they have the best times. My daughter eats cottage cheese. Not a fan, but like she's willing to try stuff. She eats salmon, you know, red snapper, shark. She's cool with watching Jeopardy. And she's able, and I think that's also what made it easier now when she transitioned to be in this programming. Um, to see like, hey, she's able to behave even though she may be silent, or she may sit underneath a table, or she may be digging up bugs even though everyone else is doing something else. She's able to sit and just absorb what's going on around her, and she has the option again to join in and say, hey, I want to talk about my dad, or and not feel that stigma, because it shouldn't be that she's being punished. And I think that's what it is, the kids feeling like they're being punished with their parents. They didn't do anything wrong.
Ooh, that's so good. I gotta dive in on that. The kids feeling like they are being um, in this society, especially in this is like the scarlet letter A. Incarcerated
Mm-hmm.
weren't get, but the entire, and for my family, it was kind of like, yeah, we got this A, but we what's good. And so I feel like there are a lot of kids who are, I mean, I feel like the whole entire system, because we
Mm-hmm.
write people off who are the lowest scum of society. A lot of them are not. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, those men were so kind. I'm not saying I had a history of being kind, but none of us something
Mm-hmm.
that warrants someone on some degree, right? And
Mm-hmm.
speak to the feeling kids are feeling, or that you saw um, amongst her peers.
I So actually I don't think my child discusses it amongst her peers. Sometimes she does, but not really, like not in school. Not in school. Once or twice she may have said, oh look, like she's brought a letter, after receiving one of your packages, and she's like, I'm gonna write a letter to my dad, and she'll write a letter and she'll bring it to class for like show and tell. So that's like once in a while. But she doesn't really talk about it in school. Um, but I feel like she feels comfortable enough to bring it up with her peers in these programs, because they give her that space and that grace,
Mm-hmm.
where she's not marked with that scarlet letter. She knows everyone is there for a reason, not necessarily the same reason, even to the point that when she comes home from therapy and they're like, oh hey, what did you do today? She's like, I can't tell you. You got to go to therapy to find out. You got older people that be like, I ain't telling nobody I'm in therapy.
Jay is hilarious because I can, like, you got to go to therapy to find out. If you want to know, go to therapy. And that's what we need. We need more people who's like, what I got going on, go get it for yourself, instead of trying to figure out what I think that is brilliant. That is brilliant. And I just want to say that you are doing a, when I first met you, first or second call, and I just love with telling me the story that she was, and I was like, this kind of kid, because that was me playing with bugs outside of my refrigerator and scrambling it with doing something. And so that creates comfortable with being herself. I think it's so commendable because you don't get kids. You don't see them showing off different off as weird or uncool. I see a kid doing something different,
Mm-hmm.
different and showing the fun. What else, EJ? What else happened? She's constantly putting me in the dungeon, but but maybe in the end, I'm gonna come out of this dungeon, do something a little bit more fun. And so I do think that you are ready for smart, super
Mm-hmm.
bright, authentic, young. I mean, I'm always blown away after all the way. And so would be what advisor in a similar circumstance.
Um, I would tell them it's okay to fall apart and pull yourself back together. Like, I was angry for a long time. I was depressed for a long time. Like, oh my gosh, like it's a burden, yes, to care for a loved one who is incarcerated and raise your child alone, but reach out and find that community and and let them support you. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to bond with the people on the bus or on the visit, but there's communities out there where you could feel rejuvenated, you could get resources, you could get respite, you could figure it out. And I think that's the great things about all these programs. um because she's in all of these programs, EJ feels okay to be herself. It's not, and I'm hoping it stays that way. But there's older kids in these programs and they're not saying, hey, again, you don't got the newest Jordans on, or you don't got the Gucci bag, or the Balenciaga bag. Then they're not saying that to each other because they know they all have something in common other than that. And that's where they connect and feel like, hey, how you doing? Hey, let's carve a pumpkin. Hey, did you speak to Angel today? Are you going to the clubhouse to hang out with your professional friend? um and I think that's really what the kids need, like a safe space to be a kid and to be able to express their frustrations and say, hey, I'm not okay today. Like, my dad is on my mind, my mom is on my mind, I'm concerned about their safety, their health, their overall well-being, I miss them. And then also say, okay, I'm okay today, you know so find those resources and let your kid be a kid and let you be human, let them see you be human, and move from there.
Wow. So you said something, the phrase it was very, very intentional. You said you. What does that mean? Where does that come from? Because it's one thing to say, but it's another thing to receive that support. When did you feel like or where you needed to let your community support
um I just recently figured that out. It took 9 years. It's hard to say I need help. It's heavy on my back. um I think the last straw for me was my grandfather died this summer. And I'm like, up, that's it. Like, my grandparents are the ones that said, oh, he's arrested. Come, come home, come back. And yeah, I have my mom. I love her to pieces, but I'm like, I'm not okay. Like, I don't want to be a burden to my mom. I don't want to be a burden to my aunts and my uncles. And it's like, okay, I need to get it together. I need to be able to get a better job and take care of myself. And I feel like I can care of myself. Like, adulting is hard by itself. And I'm like, I don't think I'm adulting right. And I had to take a step back and say, I need help. And my grandfather died when I was away also, like celebrating with my brother. and I appreciated that he came and checked on me. Like, we were away, but he came and checked on me, and he took EJ for the day because I was all types of messed up. I didn't even know I was that messed up until he was like, you know, my daughter said they were knocking and you didn't answer. Like, I was in my bed, sleep, crying, and yeah. And she picked up the phone every time they called and said, "Is your mom okay? Is she alive?" Because I guess, yeah, I was not okay, and I was like, I need to accept help and all the support, not some of the support. I need all the support and all the love, also, not just the resources for EJ.
To hear about your grandfather. It's just kind of, well, I know that you are the queen of finding that there's someone who can help you find the or other resources. You know, if you know, and I can try and work something out, or something, or whatever you feel like spa day. Let me know, because especially as the lead in me caring so much, even if that you are in a healthy space, you have people that are championing. Wow. Well, this has been an awesome interview and opportunity to ask a couple. I mean, in responses. So you might not have what we do. Put them in the chat. Again, if you are just popping in, live stream, having a conversation impacts families. We have a true honor of ours, Sister. Yeah, we are really happy that you guys have been enjoying this. I'm ready for the book, Sister Eli. I'm ready. I mean, we've had conversations offline things from you. The book, your hair series. I'm ready for all of it, because when I say that you are and your family's amazing, I truly mean you're so multifaceted, and I think that she got to give. I need to say, don't let me rush you, but just know you look and everything like that.
Well, I might have, I'll keep you posted on the business thing. Look out for King Bishop's Entertainment LLC. I might have to do that resource hub and put all those links in one place for everybody. So I'm working on that, but a book might be a little bit difficult right now. So, but I'm working. I'm working. EJ might come out with a book sooner than me. I'm gonna let her
Ooh.
fly. We working on her. We gonna, maybe the next time you have a guest, maybe we're working on to see how that works. We're gonna work it out.
Okay. Well, I'm a host, and also you are definitely, if EJ does a kids book, those are going like money, and so I be the millionaire. She might be a too. We all three. EJ going, she might lead the way. All right. Well, Sister Eli, I want to thank you for the very first guest on the Impact live stream, and I really believe the audience and the people who are going to watch blown away by your resilience, your ability to just truly embrace. I want to thank you so much for coming on. All of you all enjoy the interview, and we're going to keep holding all of her future endeavors. That I hope y'all have a great evening next time.
Thank you.